This makeup had me feeling myself today. This is a full face of LYS. If you want to see how I got this look, then just keep on watching. I was so excited to try the blushes, but let's get started. I just used their gripping primer, kind of rubbed that around all over my face until it felt like it was everywhere, dried it off a little bit, did the good old hand fans. And then I used their foundation, their serum foundation, and I just kind of rubbed that in. I used my fingers because I noticed that it likes my fingers a lot more than a brush. Sometimes the brush will leave it like a little bit streaky, so I usually rub it out with my fingers, and I feel like the warmth just helps from my fingertips. And then I took my beauty blender and got like all the edges and just make sure there was no harsh lines everywhere, and just really pushed it in to my face so it could look nice and smooth. And I was really liking how it was looking, so that made me happy. And then I used their serum concealer. It's about a medium coverage concealer. It actually played really well with its sister, the foundation. So I just put it where I felt like I needed more coverage a little bit and to kind of brighten up certain areas. Also used my beauty blender to blend this out. Make sure I got all up under my eye. Rub that in. That looked super good too. I was pretty thrilled so far. And then I used their contour or bronzer stick and just put that kind of around the edges of my face, on my forehead, my cheekbones, all that good stuff. My hardest part is always trying to make the sides match. They're always slightly off. But so I got that on where I thought I was happy. Tried to put a little bit of contour on my nose, but I totally made it all cockeyed, and I was like, oh goody. But I figured not to mess with it and let it derail me, so I figured I'd just go to blending out my contour slash bronzer, whatever you want to call it. I kind of double dutied it and then just rubbed all that out, and it actually blended out really well as well. And this sponge wasn't really wet, it was mostly dry. I gave it like one spritz with a setting spray just so it wasn't dry. Put a little bit of contour on the bottom of my lip, and then decided to try and tackle this nose. What I ended up doing is just completely blending it out pretty much. And then I decided I was going to do like over the nose blush, and that was just going to fix it. So I took the blush stick in the color Bubbly, which is the soft pink one, and I used a brush with it because I used it before and it was slightly goopy but really, really pretty. So I figured if I set it down with a brush first, it would be easier to blend out. And it was super duper 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 pigmented, like whoa, pigmented. I was scared. I was like, all right, let's see if this blends out. Let's see what happens. But it actually blended out really, really well. I was pretty happy with it, actually. And I just used my beauty blender to get all the way across my cheeks and face, and it blended out way better than I thought it was going to by how bright it was. Sorry, by how bright it was when I first put it on. But by the time it got blended out, it actually looked super cute. I love it. So cute, so cute. So I decided to take the darker blush stick and use it as kind of like a lip stain, but it was super pigmented too. So I decided to just put it on the inner parts of my lips and then kind of just blot that out. But it was still really, really bright. So I took my beauty blender to it and actually blended it out even more. And then that was about where I wanted it. That made me happy. I thought it was super cute. I kind of jumped around a little bit, but I was done with that. So I decided to go in with their powder bronzer in the light shade that they have, just to add some depth to my eyes, because I didn't want to leave my eyes completely bald. So I decided to use the lighter color kind of all over the lid and in my crease, just to add some warmth and depth. And then I took the darker color just to darken up kind of the outer corners and stuff, just to add a little something extra. So that, not so that it looked like I was wearing a whole eyeshadow look, but so it looked like I did something to my eyes, if you get what I mean. I'm sure you get what I mean. But yeah, so I just darkened up my outer corners, blended that out just a little bit, but tried to keep it kind of to its own spot. And that ended up looking really good to me. So I was like, yay! And I took a little brush, like a little smudger, took some of that darker one and blended out underneath my eyes with it. And I liked how that was looking. It was really natural looking, but like just added something. So I took the tiniest bit of eyeshadow and put it on my inner corner. I love this eyeshadow. It's perfect for like when you want just like a super subtle inner corner moment, or even just to like rub all over your lid. And I put some on my nose for a little nose highlight moment. And I thought that looked really pretty. Added some to the top of my lip for my Cupid's bow. And the color of that was actually my Urban Decay Midnight Cowboy. Totally forgot to mention that before. And it's just like a, kind of like a nudie, like shimmer with little tiny glitter flecks. Put on just some CoverGirl mascara. Good old CoverGirl. She's always there. And I actually surprisingly only used one dip for the entirety of both of my eyes. And I was really impressed. And I was like, that's why you're still in my collection. So I actually left that as is because that looked good to me. So the LYS lip oil. But first, I decided to go in with a little bit of my brow pencil. This is actually an auburn brow pencil, since my hair is a little darker red right now. So I used that for my lip liner, and I actually really ended up liking the way it looked. I like to use eyebrow pencils for lip liner when I use like a lip oil, because they just seem more sturdy against all that oil. They tend to break down a lot less quickly. And I just blended out all the edges and kept kind of blotting it together till it looked kind of like an ombre. And then finally went in with that lip oil once I was happy with the blend. I got this in a set of 2, actually. I want to say in a BoxyCharm. But I do love this lip oil as well. It's not sticky at all, and it feels really good. And it lasts for a really long time, surprisingly, too. And I was happy with that. I actually really, really like this lip combo. I'm definitely going to keep wearing it. And just filling in with that same eyebrow pencil my eyebrows. just the sparse areas, nothing too heavy. I basically just filled in the sparse areas, and then I'm going to go back in with like a little brush to kind of just rake it through my brows, just enough to where it fills in any bald spots. Here we go. Sorry, I had to focus. We have to really focus for this part. Don't want to mess that up. So, and this is the finished look. I thought it was so pretty. It came out so glowy and dewy and skin-like. It just looked really natural and pretty. Whoa, I'm so clumsy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye! So I decided to let my hair down, and I really liked it. I was kind of going back and forth on calling this like spring deer makeup. It's giving me like, I don't know, I just feel like I look like a little spring deer. So anyway, that was the look. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. And that's just me living my cute girl fantasy over here. I was so feeling myself with this makeup. Oh my gosh, I was so in love with it. Ah, doing my little hair scrunch.